Okay, so my journey in Owensboro began in 2015. I say it was a gift of desperation how I landed in Owensboro. I was in a rehab for meth addiction. I had nowhere to go after I had left rehab, and so I just started calling around to places where I could go. And so God just landed me here in Owensboro. So in, I think it was February of 2015, there was a bed open for me over at the Patino shelter, and that's kind of where my journey began. Part of staying at the Patino shelter, you had to give back. So we volunteered there, and that's where I had learned that I have the gift of serving. So I remember standing in the soup kitchen, and the firemen had come, and we had celebrated the firemen for helping the Patino shelter so much. And I volunteered to cook for them, and it was such a gift to be able to do that, to give back. That's kind of where my journey began. I knew that I just wanted to give back to the community. It's very important to be a productive member of the community, and that's where I kind of learned it all. I say God has a sense of humor because I remember like a few years before that, I was watching a show, I think it was a Christmas show, and they were serving in the soup kitchen, and I'm like, oh Lord, that's what I want to do. I want to serve. But I'm from a really small town and never had been in a shelter. So here I am, landed in the homeless shelter, and I got to serve. And I was like, this is so awesome. So after being at the shelter for a couple of years, then I had graduated to Fresh Start for Women, and that was also a great opportunity. I served with them when I stayed over at Fresh Start for Women. Again, they kind of helped me get to the point of where I am now. So each place brought me full circle to where I am now. While staying at Fresh Start for Women, there was goals that we had to complete, and somebody had suggested, it was actually Carol Atkins, that had suggested, hey Stacey, did you think about checking into Habitat for Humanity? I said, no. So I learned all about Habitat for Humanity, just started working my hours, and I completed that. While working towards getting my house for Habitat for Humanity, I didn't have custody of my son at that point. That was another goal that I was working towards. And so fast forward, I get into my Habitat for Humanity house. I don't exactly have my son back at that point, but then my parents, just because of the long-term addiction that I had, were a little reluctant for a while because, of course, they're your family, to give me my son back. But once they seen all the volunteer work I was doing, the fact that I did exactly what I said I was going to do, that was very important. And so it was on Easter weekend. My dad, when I seen him, when I came for a visit to see my son, asked me what my plans were, and I said to get my son back. So because of Habitat for Humanity, because I got that house and I was stable, I got my son back. So once I got into my Habitat house, I had said in the very beginning of my Habitat house, another place that I had been impacted by was Impact 100. Everywhere I had been, whether it had been Patino Shelter, Fresh Start, Habitat for Humanity, I worked for Friends of Sinners, every place I had been at, they had been touched by Impact 100. So I said, Lord, I don't know how I'm going to do this, but I'm going to do it. That's my goal. I want to be an Impact 100 lady. So fast forward, now I am an Impact 100 lady. So after getting my house, getting my son back, then I became an Impact 100 lady, and then fast forward from that, I had met Jeremy and Leela at a finance class at Owensboro Christian Church. And I was going to support the Fresh Start ladies that were there graduating from the finance class, and Habitat happened to be there too. And so Jeremy kind of got to hear my story, and Jeremy and Leela approached me after the class and said, we would love for you to volunteer and be on the homeowners committee. And I said, I would love doing that. So that's what brings me to Habitat and volunteering. It's great because there are some people that have some colorful stories, and then they finally get to the point where they're working their way towards the Habitat house, and I can share that story with them and show them it can be done. So now I have my son back, I have my 3-bedroom home. God has just brought me full circle through all of this, and it's just a wonderful thing to be able to give back to your community once you've overcome all your obstacles from your past. And I tell you, I have this famous quote that I want to share. By losing everything, I gained it all. And what I mean by that, I lost everything, but I gained so much more because I gained a relationship with God. And that's why I'm here today. Without God in that midst of the stories, I don't know where we would be at. Like, He's the one that creates all these opportunities for us, and it's just for us to say yes to Him and be obedient to Him when He says go, you go. So, like, each one of those places, there were people in line to help me, and those were God's people, like each one of them. And so now I have this community of all these God's people, and these same people that have helped me, I will make a phone call and I'm like, hey, I have so-and-so, they need help with this. Because I know what these people do, I can help them and I connect them. So I'm kind of a connector, I guess you could say, to helping these other people out. There's no accident why that happened. I mean, I'm very passionate because of what I've been through. So even though there was a lot of struggles, I have to say I don't have a whole lot of regrets, because I don't think I would have the relationship I do have with God if it wasn't for what I've been through, or even the compassion that I have, that, you know, if it wasn't for everything that, you know, has happened to me, I probably wouldn't have that compassion like I do. Virginia Braswell, she was the director of Habitat at the time that I was applying, And she didn't look down on me, and that was really, really important, because some people can be very judgmental, and these people, God just knew, and He placed them in my lives. So she was very impactful, and she rooted for me all along the way and told me I could do this. And my parents, took them a little bit, but they also impacted me through all of this. And then Friends of Sinners, just working through them and working with the girls that had some of the problems that I was going through, same kind of problems, I was able to help them. So by them giving me a chance, that was also a great opportunity. And Patino, if it wasn't for them giving me a bed and believing in me, I remember I was at my lowest when I was at that shelter, and that meant so much to me, because they looked at me for who I am and not who I was. Very, very important in your journey is for people to look at you for who you are, not who you were. So all of these places have brought me back full circle, where I want to be impactful just like them. I just hope that I can be half the person that all of you are, that made me be where I'm at today.